Are you excited about hearing from students who have been where you are? Yes. Okay, so we're ready to start the afternoon. Again, if you weren't here this morning, my name is Cedric Smoots, a Special Project Manager for Student Equity, which our Student Success and Equity Advisory Committee is putting on this event, and it's done all this work to make you a success. So we're really excited about today. What I wanted to do before we continue is to let you know about our Student Leadership Program, which is basically starts in the fall. We have 8 students who represent you on a variety of institution and district committees that affect everything that goes on around here. And we had 3. We now have 2. Where's Peggy? She's gone?
She had to leave.
She had to leave. We have 2 student leaders here, Natalie and Jeanette, who represent 2 of our committees. And Jeanette is going to speak to you. She's a medical assistant student, and she serves on our Educational Technology and Steering Committee, which is a district committee that deals with IT and all the research and data information throughout the district. Jeanette.
So I'm just going to let you know that the student leadership is just beginning. We connect with the community. There's opportunities to interact with the fellow students and your mentors and the community resources. But to get further information, what you really need to do is contact Jennifer Carey, which was one of our amazing speakers this morning, which we really appreciated. And if you want to write down her number, or I'm sure you will find it somewhere on the website, but if it's 714-808-4583, and I'm enjoying it. I've learned a lot already just being a part of it. So if you're interested, it's always fun to get involved, and you make new friends. So thank you.
I'm glad that you're here. I think it's exciting to hear from students, especially students who've been successful in their journey and demonstrated both like grit and perseverance that we've talked about. So we have a great panel. We have Ciale De Rivera, Melissa Dela Cruz, Pedro Duran, Jason McCabali, and Jorge Acaboa. Chris, right?
Yes.
And Chris is helping with that as well. So they've been generous enough to answer a series of questions, and at the end we're going to have question and answers so that you can get direct feedback about the questions that you have. I think it's great to have successful students, so maybe the first time through we can go this way, right? And I just want to give you guys permission. I think it's important when you're doing a panel, sometimes someone has said something that's gone before, and that's okay to say it's similar. So, but I'm sure you have individual information as well. So the first question that we talked about is basically to have a much better introduction than just learning your names. Can you briefly describe your personal history and how you came to NOCE?
Again, my name is Ciale De Rivera. I'm from Mexico. I grew up in a very little town with no electricity and no running water. I had to literally go to a river and to get water from a water well and do my laundry in the river. And but I always knew about education and I wanted to go to college, but it was almost like winning the lottery. I knew I couldn't do it. Eventually, we migrated to the United States, and the place where I moved in, the apartments, I asked about where can I learn English, and they told me about NOCE, or School of Continuing Education. I didn't know any English whatsoever. I started from the very bottom in the ESL classes. Later on, I learned about the high school diploma program, went into the high school diploma program, transferred to Fullerton College. I have one of my classmates here, and went on to Cal State Fullerton to complete my bachelor's degree in human services, multiple subject teaching credential, and a master's degree in education. Now I'm coordinating the mentorship program here at NOCE.
Let's try some miking. And this was what you used earlier?
Well, while I'm getting that ready, I just want to say thank you, Hilda. That was amazing.
Hi. Oh, I don't know if it's on.
Is it on?
Okay.
I think they took the
That's-
mic away because they have a boom, but.
Okay. I don't think it's gonna work.
Oh, it's still there. What happened to the hand mic that was here?
Hello. Hello.
Those are for that room, so it won't work. But there was a mic for this room.
I know there's this one.
Back, oh, here it is. I'm sorry. Yeah, those are for the other room. And of course, this mic isn't on. Hello? No. Oh, we have to turn this on. No, that's on. Okay, we're gonna have to project
There we
today.
go.
Sorry about that.
Hi, my name is Melissa Dela Cruz. I'm gonna try and make this brief. How I came to NOCE was all started probably I was 17 and my father passed away. And from there, my father always told me, you know, education first. But when he passed away, things change where, you know, you have to work in order to support your family, and that's your top priority, and life happens. So I just was working at a nonprofit organization helping the needy in our community. Then I started to realize, like, I need to go back to school and try and get my education in order to be successful. And that's when I went to American Career College, wanting to do something fast, and got my health claim certificate. I ended up getting into the field, and that's when I realized that it was a good job, but it just didn't fit my personality. I felt like I needed to work with people, be around people. So one day in the mail, I ended up getting a schedule from, at that time, SCE, School of Continuing Education. And I knew I wanted to stay within the medical field, so I called SCE and I was getting information like, what's the difference between, you know, I was thinking about going back to American Career College. What's the difference between your program, medical assisting, and the American Career College? I ended up finding out one is basically tuition free, and one you have to pay $15,000 or more in order to go to it. And I was just like, I'm gonna go this route. So I ended up going with School of Continuing Education. I started off in 2013, got into one class at a time just because I didn't want to take on too much because I was working also at the time. I ended up getting my medical assisting certificate in 2015, and from there I ended up getting an opportunity to work here at NOCE, and it's an opportunity I couldn't miss, and now I'm here. But I did finish the medical assisting certificate program, and I loved it so much that I'm actually working at this school now.
Thank you, Melissa. That was great. Pedro, would you
Okay.
like to share?
My name is Pedro. I'm from Mexico, Zacatecas. I came when I was 17 years old. So when I came here, my sister told me, okay, you need to go to school to learn English. So that's why I came to NOCE. So I am the number 10 of my family. My family is really long, big. I am the youngest one. So I decided to go forward, study, and one day I told my sister, okay, one day I want to be in Fullerton College. So now I'm taking 60 units. This is my second year. That's all.
So you can thank your sister for giving you that first step.
For sure.
Jason, would you like to share?
Hi all, I'm Jason Makabali. I'm actually like a homegrown SoCal boy. I've been here my whole life, born in East LA, and I just like grew up here. I went to college here, but then life happens, right? Life happens, so I had to take care of some family stuff, and then after that, like I tried to get back into the workforce, and I couldn't find anything, so I just got pretty discouraged. Let some time slip by, and then after a while, like my mom saw she knew I wanted to go into pharmacies, so she saw this flyer on the table, or actually it was a schedule of classes. She saw it on the table and she was like, "You want to go into pharmacy, right?" It's like, "Yeah." And so she was all like, "Well, this place is offering some free tech classes." Like, "Oh, cool, might as well try it out," right? So that's how I first got into NOCE, and like it's been amazing. It actually like reignited my motivation to learn again, and to get through classes and stuff. And now, after going through the pharmacy technician certification program, after doing all the externships and everything, I ended up finding a job over here at NOCE as part of their research department. So that was pretty cool.
Thank you, Jason. And Jorge?
I'm Chris, and this is Jorge. He's nonverbal, so I'll be speaking for him. I'm actually his respite worker. Jorge started high school in 2001 at Valley High School in Santa Ana, and he went until he was too old to attend public schools, and that's how he got into the NLC program. That's all we got. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, Jorge. He started high school in 2001 at Valley High School in Santa Ana, and he went until he was too old to attend public schools, and that's what led him into this program, the NOCE program. That's all we got right there.
So that was really great. It's interesting to hear how many of you had other people helped you kind of make that next step, which is important. I think that ties in really nicely with what Jennifer talked about, finding a mentor, finding those people around you. We talked about belonging, so thank you. Since you've been successful at NOCE, what are some of the people, resources, or strategies that helped you achieve your success while you were here? Took the start, Hilda.
Okay. I think relying on your instructors first. They know you best. Whatever class you're taking, your instructor knows your work. If you're in ESL, your reading, writing, comprehension level. So talk to your instructor. I find that that is the best way to go. If you have questions, talk to your instructor, the counselors too. If you're not sure, talk to your counselors. Be very specific in your questions and your goals. So before you go to a counselor, have your goals. If you have a degree in your country, make sure you tell the counselors because they will help you with that too. And I think participating in the different events or different activities that they have, like the student leadership, is very important. You learn so much. It's not about understanding English or understanding the culture. Is, like he said, putting yourself, when you're too comfortable in a place, that means you're ready for the next step. If you're feeling way too comfortable, that means you know everything that is around you at that moment and you have to challenge yourself. And when you challenge yourself, when you're feeling challenged, that's when you're ready for the next step. So whenever I felt comfortable, I asked my teachers, and usually they gave me good resources to go forward in the next step.
Thank you. Melissa?
I would say some of the people, resource and strategies I learned here at NOCE was, first I would say people is, I would definitely say he was a manager here for the workability program, the DSS, Alex Benvenides. My instructors, I remember, for some reason personally for me, when I take tests, I get like this anxiety. Like I could study all night, and then as soon as that test comes, and I know it's a 45-minute test, an hour test, my mind just goes blank. And I was always struggling, like, didn't really want to say anything because I was like, I didn't felt like I was gonna bug the instructors or the counselors. And finally, it's true. Like, if you don't say anything or have that open communication with your instructors, counselors, they're not gonna know because there's so many students around. So I ended up going to a counselor here, and he gave me some resources, and one of them was the DSS program, and I ended up having to get some resources as far as extra testing time in a quieter space where I could just focus and have that little bit of extra time just so I could have my thoughts clearly, and that helped out a lot for me. And then definitely the workability program, how they helped me with my resume, build my resume up. They helped me with things like that. So definitely communication is key. Talking to your instructors, letting them know you need this extra help or you need help. Because normally people who work in education, they're here because they want to help you. So don't be afraid that you're bugging them. This is what they love to do. Strategies, I guess going to Learning Center, getting some extra tutoring, take advantage of that. That helped a lot with my situation. So there's a lot of workshops going on here, so I would just take advantage of everything you can, because that's what's going to help you grow and help you succeed.
Excellent. Thank you. Wait 1 second, Pedro. I just had a question. How many of you guys know what DSS is? Only a couple people. So do you want to tell them what it is?
Yes, it's Disability Support Services, and they have just so many great programs within that. It's just, and it doesn't necessarily has to be a full-on disability. It could be things like the testing anxiety. You just have to ask for help and then make an appointment.
I wanted to make sure you knew that, because I mentioned to many of you in the morning, my son has a learning challenge, and I'm excited for when he gets to NOCE or Fullerton College, because from my experience, they have way better programs and resources here than he gets in his high school and elementary program. So even if you maybe have had experience that weren't as good, I've found that North Orange County as a community, whether it's Fullerton College or Cypress or NOCE, does a great job of providing support, and that those are resources that you have for your advantage, and you deserve them. So please take advantage of how to do that, and if you need help of how to find that office, that's the kind of thing that's easy to ask someone. So I just want to make sure that people knew, and it makes a tremendous difference. I can't wait for my son to get here so he can have that advantage, because it really does help.
And Miguel, what is it? It is free.
It's true. Absolutely. And it's supported programs designed to help you, and they can customize it. Like if you have a particular challenge, they give you strength and resources for that challenge, and your friend or classmate may have a different challenge, and they have adaptations for that person. So they're expert at helping you diagnose the areas you need support, and then providing you that support. So I strongly encourage you to look into that, as well as the other programs. I just want to make sure sometimes when we use acronyms, it's hard to keep track. So I want to make sure you knew that one, because that was really great, and I appreciate you sharing this. So Pedro, thank you.
Okay, I think the support of my family helped me a lot, to go all the way to here,
Okay.
So, and after that, the instructors, follow the instruction they give me, and doing the homework. Also, the casa stays helped me a lot, to realize, okay, how much I improving my English, my writing, my reading. What else? I think that's all.
Okay, excellent. So really, family was one of the big things.
Yeah.
And that's important. If you're coming to a school and getting involved, you want to create that community and the support, and finding the people who are going to be supportive for you and how they can help you, and having that conversation and that supportive role. So I think that's great. Thank you. Jason?
Okay, for sure, first and foremost, instructors. They have been pretty great to me, and I still keep in touch with a lot of them. Most of the pharmacy tech instructors were actually some of the best instructors I've had, honestly. Going throughout college, going throughout high school, a lot of instructors were very kind of dismissive. A lot of them don't have that personal touch that I found that these instructors had. They're like, actually are my mentors. They still continue to teach me to this day about stuff that I probably wouldn't even know about. Like it's not even just about pharmacy technicians, it's about like life in general. Like I was actually talking to one of the instructors about what I should probably invest in, possibly maybe like if I want to like build up investments and build up a stock portfolio or something like that. Been thinking about that kind of thing, like job opportunities and that other kind of stuff. So, you know, instructors have been very, very kind to me, and I'm very grateful for the kind of support that they've shown. The other thing, of course, are friends and family. You know, you can't really succeed without your friends and without your family. You know, my mom gave me that push to come to NOCE in the first place. And then, you know, like at NOCE, I've gone to make some great friends, you know, that I still talk to, that I still hang out with. Like, you know, just go out and just chill, you know, because, you know, like they are kind of like part of your extended family. They'll help you learn, they'll help you, you know, grow as a person too, right? So it's very nice to, you know, get that kind of support from the people around you. And especially like you get to learn about them too. Like everyone, especially here, they have very, very diverse backgrounds, and, you know, you can like pick up on different things that you never probably would have seen before in your own life, right? So that was great to know. As far as like NOCE resources themselves, I'd have to say the big thing for me was probably the counseling center, because, you know, they have great services. Like they really, really, really helped me shine up my resume for when I actually did try to apply for jobs, did try to go out here, because, you know, they have wonderful staff who are actually really, really good at making your resume really shine. So that was pretty cool too. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything.
Jorge.
For Jorge, he says that all of his respite workers, so what we do is we help Jorge when, this is his device, it's where he's able to talk to us. He uses this to communicate, but it's really noisy, so we've got it on mute basically. So having us, we have to come in and set it up, and then we're able to read because he has trouble seeing as well. So we read to him some of his homework, some of his classwork and stuff. So he says that all of his respite workers over the past few years, his teachers have definitely been a big help. And one of his strategies was him having a set schedule for going to school. Although a lot of people, you know, oh, I don't want to wake up early to go to class, and he still decided, let's wake up early, I'll match it with my worker, and he would only have 4 hours to get, you know, on the bus, get to the school, do his work, and get back on the bus and get home. So that was his way of becoming successful at NOCE.
So our third question, what are some of the challenges you faced and how did you address them? What were some of the challenges you faced and how did you address them? Start.
I think my first challenge was the language. I didn't speak English, so I had to learn it. And I know that most ESL students are afraid of the test when they first take it, but I think being honest in that first test will place you in the right ESL level and take it from there. I never allowed myself to be in the same level more than a year. My goal was 6 months, but a year if it was like absolutely necessary, but 6 months, and immerse myself in the language. As adults, life happens. You have to work. You have to, I had children. I was married and divorced. So for me, was having my goal very clear to get a master's degree, take it one step at a time so that I didn't get overwhelmed and didn't stop. Even after I got divorced, I did not stop. And I look for the support groups to help me. It's important to ask for help. Don't be shy or afraid to bother anybody, because people are willing to help. Or if they can't help you, if somebody told me, no, I'm sorry, I can't help you, okay, where can I find the help that I need? And they will guide me to the place where I could get help. Fullerton College has a child development department where my children went, and you just need to ask all the questions that come to your mind. For me, preparing 2 years ahead, like if I'm in my mind I want to be in a place in 2 years, I start thinking two years prior. So planning ahead of time. For the child development place, there was about a 1 year waiting list. So when I was pregnant with my child, I went and put myself in that waiting list. So it's just thinking ahead and believing 100% that your goal is real and it's gonna happen. Don't let anybody, and your worst enemy can be yourself. Because when somebody else tells you you can't do it, you can quiet them down, ignore them. But if yourself is telling you that you can't, then you have a problem. Don't listen to yourself. Yes, you have a goal, be persistent, and don't lose focus.
Thank you. That was great, Hilda. Thank you. Melissa?
Okay, I would definitely say challenge for myself was, like I said, after my father passed away, I needed to make a living and support my family, my mom. And coming back to school was like, I was scared because I was like, oh my gosh, I need to, I need to work, but then I need to get an education. It's definitely what Hilda said, the positive thinking, knowing that you are going to accomplish your goal, and in the end, everything's going to be all right. Like, sometimes you doubt yourself, just think positive and good things will happen. Another challenge I had was, have you ever been in class where, the instructor gives you an assignment and everybody around you seems to be getting the assignments, and you're just like, you're quietly sitting there and you're like, I don't get this at all. Like, I need the help. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fail. And then you're just adding more stress to yourself. Communication, like I said, is key. Definitely talk to your instructors, let them know, like, I'm having trouble. Take advantage of the learning center. I know I did, because there was some assignments in the medical assisting program. I was like, terminology, where I was like, what is this? And I had to learn it for the next test a week later. I would go to the learning center, take some time out of my day to be able to do that, and just get that one-on-one tutoring that I needed. Like I said, just be open, communicate with whether a tutor or instructor, because we are here to help you, and that's all I could say that were my challenges here. And then of course that testing anxiety that I had, and having, asking for help, going to the DSS program, being able to have that little extra time to, to pass my test or to think better in a quiet environment. So definitely take advantage of the resources we have here.
Pedro?
I think my first challenge was the language. After I learned it, the second challenge was still can be is the fear of speaking in front of the people. Because I used to suffer bullying in my country. So one day I told myself, okay, I will speak no matter what they will say it or thinking. I mean, I'm really scared in front of the people. I don't know if you can feel it.
I think you're doing a great job. So we'll put that down as taking responsible risks, right? Yes. Coming up and dealing with the biggest fear to help us. That's really impressive. Thank you. Jason?
Honestly, I've been pretty fortunate. So, like, my biggest challenge was myself. I didn't have that motivation. Like, I felt like I did feel like a failure. And then what pushed me were like, the people around me. They've had to continually like motivate me. They tell me like what it is that keeps me going. I have to keep pushing forward. I have to, because I do sometimes feel like I compare myself a lot versus other people. I say like, oh, these people are doing so much better than I am, or and it does discourage me at times. But then you just have to turn to your support system, like who you find, who's actually important to you, and they'll usually tell you, like, don't worry about that kind of stuff, just keep pushing, keep doing what you do, and that backing, that support, like, that love basically has, inspired me to keep going, keep pushing forward, and, I want to keep pushing forward, and, if not for me, for them, right? So that's like the big thing for me.
Jorge's biggest challenge is, like, when he doesn't have a respite worker, he can go weeks, months maybe without a respite worker. He said it almost took him 10 years to get his high school diploma. So that was his biggest challenge, was not having a worker to be there to help him get to school and do his work. And also himself, where he's like, okay, I just might as well give up and not go since I don't have a worker. I'm not gonna get a worker anytime soon. So each time he felt that way, he would receive a worker. And then just in general, he says that another one of his challenges was how long it took, just in general. He's like, okay, I think I'm almost done. No, you have a whole nother section to do, but he would never give up. So that was his biggest challenge. Well, those were.
I'm grateful that he's willing to share, and that's such a testament to his perseverance and grit that we've been talking about, that he would continue over that long time. That's amazing. Thank you. So our final question, this is a little prep for you guys, is there's going to be question and answer. So you might be thinking about specific questions you have for one person, that something resonated with you, or for the panel in general. So after this question, it's going to be open for you guys. So be thinking about questions you might like to have answered. So our final question for the panel is, what advice would you offer to your peers about their education in general, or about their efforts at NOCE in particular? Should I start?
I think get to know your campus. There is so much here at NOCE that you can take advantage of to be successful, and I think the resources are being underused. So make it a point to go to your counselor, find out what they offer, like they have the Learning Center, they have the DSS program, talk to your instructor about the different services. We have the Mentorship Program where I help students transition, ESL students transition to Fullerton College, and what we do is we help with the application process, FAFSA, and we stay with the students for 9 academic years. That can be a big challenge, but the resource exists, and when I was a student, I remember the resources were being underused. So get to know your campus, ask questions, because there is a lot to offer.
Thank you. Melissa?
Yes. What advice would I would give? I would give any students here at NOCE is definitely, if you're going into particular field, like let's say medical assistant, take advantage of, like Hilda said, the resources here. Start volunteering if you, maybe for, like I personally volunteered for Children's Hospital of Orange County. I got a lot of experience with that. Network with your peers, because you never know, that person might know somebody who's working in the medical field who could give you advice. Talk to your instructors. I noticed here at NOCE, in the medical assisting program, the instructors were so knowledgeable, masters, physician's assistants in their field, experience that over 20 years. They're going to be able to let you know how it is out in the field. So communicate. That would be probably the best advice I could give you. Take advantage of the resources you have here. Take advantage of talking to your instructors and getting to know your peers, because when you go out there in the field, especially if you're going to do medical assisting, you're going, for me, for example, you want to help people, so you're going to have to communicate with them and just try and help them as much as you can. So that I would give.
Thank you. Pedro?
I will say dream big, and work really hard to achieve them. And don't let another people tell you that you cannot obtain anything. Because nobody have the right to tell what can you do or what cannot you do.
Yeah.
And that's all.
Thank you. Good. Jason?
All right. In general, I would want to say don't stop learning. Never stop learning. Learning is a lifelong process. I still like to continue to learn. I want to learn until I die, basically, because, in learning, you achieve growth. In learning, you have your own personal growth, right? So you can't stop learning. Don't be afraid to ask questions, Questions are what help you learn. Don't think a question is dumb just because it sounds dumb in your head, because, other people might be having the same question. They might just be too afraid to ask it. So just don't fear asking questions. Just feel free to ask whatever you need to get that knowledge that you need, because, in the end, it is about improving yourself. It's about, NOCE may be where you are now, but, it's not necessarily the end-all, be-all of your education. You can still keep going farther. You can, if you've already been to college, you can go to college again. You could get 3 PhDs. Why not, right? Because, it's just fun to learn. And that's what I truly feel. So, yeah.
He says to keep going and don't let anyone tell you can't do it. Don't let yourself tell you, and most importantly, don't listen to the negative you. That's it.
All right. So does someone have a question for the panel now? I think they asked you, they suggested to you at least 10 times, don't be afraid to ask questions. This is your test. Are you able to ask questions? So who has a, yes?
Then you have started volunteering after 3 semesters or another thing for the volunteer program?
I started volunteering when I started volunteering for Children's Hospital of Orange County. I found out about it probably the 2014, but actually applied in 2015. It's a pretty fast process. You just need to apply for it, and they only do it twice a year. And they do want you to commit to, I forgot how many hours, but it was really easy to get into it. And as long as you're gonna commit to it, then, and pass, background checks, then they're willing to work with you with that. But you could do it right away if you wanted to.
After getting the certificate, we can go and then we can apply.
You could actually do it prior. You could do it prior. It's open to anybody who's wanting to volunteer for Children's Hospital of Orange County. But that's what I looked around and I thought that's perfect for me. This is definitely something I wanted to do. You're welcome.
Thank you for asking, being the first one. So I have a little prize for you for being our first person. So this is something we give out at Fullerton College. It's a little brain and it's a stress ball. So I want to toss it back here. It's squishy, so. That was for being brave enough to be the first person to ask a question. So thank you.
Now the doctor.
Okay, I'm glad you want to ask a question. I don't have any more brain. Which, if you ask my wife, she'll tell you all the time. I don't have any more brain. All right. Did you have a question?
How long time we should to be volunteer? I study early childhood education, and I want to volunteer in some school. How long time I should to be a volunteer to get a good experience?
For education, in the education field, or with the medical field?
With experience with the teaching, with the children.
With children, I would definitely go out into your community and maybe go to the city hall. They have resources there where, to be an assistant for daycares, definitely babysitting if you know anybody who needs a babysitter, getting that experience. Because I think what employers are looking at, they're looking at your experience a majority of the time. Even if it's little, it's something that you could always put on your resume and that could help you.
I think we have another suggestion.
Well, I'm gonna let you, and then does anybody else want to address that question? One of the things, if you work for an agency, in the state of California or school or anything dealing, or even your church, dealing with children, you have to be live scanned by the state. So you have to go through a legal process to volunteer and to help with children if you're working for an organization.
This would probably be a good place where talking to an instructor for a class in the field, even if you're not in that class yet, but reaching out to them, because that's what they know. They're the people who have the best answer in that field. They might even have direct connections, but they would know about live scan. They would know about the agencies you would contact and the resources. And I think your question was, how long should you have experience before you move into the workforce? And that's the kind of thing that someone in the field would be best prepared to answer. So that goes along with what they were saying about talking to the instructors of those courses. Even if you're not in that course yet, they all have emails and contact access points that you can reach out to them in advance. And that's great. It's exactly what Hilda was talking about, I think, where you're projecting ahead, like not, I want the job, and then you find out I should have been doing something else for a long time. So I think you're really thinking in a thoughtful way, and that's where getting the right help. And so the instructors, the counselors, and the resources on campus are going to be fantastic for you. That's a great question. I'm sorry, I don't have any more break to give. Another question? Yeah.
So, elaborating on that, are the counselors here specific to the programs? In other words, is there a specific counselor for child development? And say you're not in that program. I'm actually in a child development program, but actually through Saddleback. But I take other classes here. But I'm interested in getting information about, and the only reason I didn't take it here is because of the limitations as far as what you can do with it. Nonetheless, even though I'm not in those classes, are you able to talk to those instructors or make an appointment with that specific counselor, even if it's not your program of study here?
I think we have a counselor here. Yeah, she can answer.
Great.
For those of you who don't know me, my name's Yvette Krebs. I'm actually one of the counselors at the Wilshire Center. But you guys do have counselors here. We're trained as general counselors. So in other words, we know about the high school diploma program. We counsel on the English as a second language program. We also counsel on the CTE programs. So myself, at the Wilshire Center, we have a management program. So all of the management students will come in and see either myself or Ciale De Rivera, who's the other counselor at Wilshire. But here at Anaheim, you guys, is Con still here? Okay, you guys have several counselors here that are experts in the early childhood education program, the pharmacy tech, medical assistant, admin assistant, funeral service assistant. We have very many programs that we offer that will give you the skills and the training that you need to go into these fields. And so I would recommend that you make an appointment with a counselor at the Anaheim campus, and they can answer any questions. Sometimes we have students that know specifically what pathway they want to go into, and others that just say, you know what do you offer here so I can find the right fit for me? Or I think I might want to go into early childhood education, but I'm not quite sure. Can you give me more information about that? And so we're able to do that for you. So I encourage all of you guys, if you haven't already met with a counselor, please come in and see us. It's really important. It's helpful for you. We help you to set your short-term goals as well as your long-term goals and give you information about the resources available that I kept hearing the panelists talk about, get to know your campus, get connected, know what resources are available. And so we are able to provide that information to you. So please see us. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Very much. Thank you very much.
Is there another question?
This is not a question. This is more like a suggestion. I was part of Wilshire School, the NOC, and I wanted to transfer to Fullerton College. So the counselor, I think was her or somebody else helped me in 2014. I tried to apply to Fullerton College. So maybe I didn't be specific to the person who was helping me. They sent me an email saying, oh, your application is being already sending to them, and you have to come back because you have to give proof of your residential, or your residential residency.
Residency.
So I thought that I'm supposed to be waiting like a year or 2 years, because I told him I have I'm a resident.
Green card?
I have for my green card, yes. But I think he misunderstood me, and he told me you have to wait 2 years for you to go to Fullerton College. But I was living here in Placentia already for more than 4 years. So because of that, I have to wait, and until today, I'm not be able to apply because I didn't know, and I was thinking, maybe he didn't understand me what I was saying, because I told him I barely got my green card, and like maybe in 3 months or something, but I was already a resident of Placentia. And he was saying that I have to wait 2 years, and I said, why I should wait that long if I was already at school and I just want to be transferred, and that was it. But sometimes we have our problem, that the ESL problem, that we can speak or we don't understand some words in English. So just we have to go and talk with other people about it, because sometimes they don't know, or I didn't know at that time.
Excellent. Well, I think Hilda said she had a response.
Yes, that is a common problem, and there is miscommunication. Even if it's a native speaker, that is a problem, because residency can mean a lot of things to different people. And with the ESL Mentorship Program, we help them. Whenever they get an email, we read it, and Pedro is one of the mentors who is also helping the students. We go with the person to admissions and records and help them with the process. And usually what it means is they want to say your green card, your ID, and you're in. That's it. You don't have to wait most of the times. So in your bag, in your that you got at the beginning, there is a flyer, if somebody can take it out, for the ESL Mentorship Program. And if you're interested in going to Fullerton College, send me a text. I'm usually not in my office, I'm outside, and so text messages work better for me, because they are there, and when I get a chance, I can reply to your message, make an appointment, and if you're still interested, I can help you.
No, thank you.
So, hi, my name is Melissa Dela Cruz. I work for the Wilshire Records office. If you don't mind, maybe afterwards, because we definitely want you to continue and go to Fullerton College, and maybe we could help you out and we could figure out something together. So then we know what's going on. But thank you so much for the feedback.
Yeah.
It's appreciated.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I do work closely. I'm usually bugging them. Hey, this student needs the help, and they work wonders. Yes.
Well, I wanted to applaud you for continuing, even when you had that long barrier, it didn't stop you. And it reminded me of the quote that Jennifer had from Randy Pausch, which said that the walls are there to show how much we want to achieve the goal. And so you continuing, even when there was that barrier, even if it's a misunderstanding, that didn't stop you. And so continuing to go back, and sometimes that's a good piece of advice. If you get an answer you don't like, maybe you should ask someone else, because maybe there is a different way or another path. So there's sometimes ways around the walls that we're encountering. But I want to applaud you for not letting that barrier get in your way and continue. So that's really great. So thank you. Another question?
I have a question for the DSS program. Do you have to take a test to see if you have a learning disability?
Normally, yes, and you would set that up. I don't know if it still is. Rosie Navarro for that?
Yeah,
She's, yes. You would just set up a test, and I didn't even know when I started coming here to SCE, I didn't even know there was an actual test as an adult that you could take to see if you have a learning disability. And I took it, and I was told definitely, study more. You do need that extra testing time, because we understand people have that testing anxiety. So yes, you would have to. It's confidential, and you just need to make the appointment with DSS.
And then they'll tell you what
You'll go.
what
I remember the
tools to
process was. I met with Rosie, and it was a 2-session appointment. So you go, and it's about at least an hour. and she has you do some, some testing with her one-on-one, and then you come back, you do some more testing one-on-one, and then she'll give you the results. She'll have you come back first. So it's about 3 appointments, probably, more than likely. But I learned a lot from those testings that I was doing with her. So you got to take advantage of that.
Thank you.
Yes.
So to elaborate on that, so is it then you're accepted to a program, like, does that then give you like extended test taking time or sitting up front, or does it give you strategies?
Yeah, so if you are accepted into the program, they give you accommodations that are best fit for you. So mine was definitely that testing anxiety. So it was like, okay, Melissa, you get that little bit of extra testing time in a quieter space. And if you have a mobility, or something, they will get you in contact with the correct resources to get you that help. But yeah, it's based on what you need or off of the testing.
So so are there also like workshops, or do you go in there and they also teach you strategies on how to perhaps overcome? I know one of my daughters had cellular difficulties, and she was in a program through her high school, and it gave them those things, extra time accommodations, if you will, for whatever,
Yeah.
But it also was an actual class that she took that taught her how to be a self-advocate, this was in high school, how to basically work around your disability in a sense. Is there something like that, or is it just basically the accommodations under it?
No, I definitely would think that would be a counseling department question. I know for me, I kept in close contact with the counseling department and would meet with them, things like that. They have workshops, I know that. There's specific classes for certain DSS students, but definitely you're going to want to see a counselor regarding that, because then they'll be able to put you in the right path for that. But there's a lot of good stuff on the DSS program.
Maybe one more question? Yes?
I want to learn more about the student leadership program.
I think
The student leadership program, one of the things, the student leadership program for this year, we have 8 committees in which you can apply during the summer and early fall to become a part of. But one of the exciting things that is happening that Jeanette is talking about is a student club is forming. It's in the process of forming. We've got 3 students who are meeting with the dean here at Anaheim to form that club. And it's community connections and those things that Jeanette talked about is how we can get involved. You can come see me, I'll give you my card, and I can talk to you more about student leadership and how we can get students more involved in what we do around here. I am so excited to see students interacting with students and learning from each other. That's what education is about. It's not only learning from your instructors, but it's learning from each other and experiencing differences to make you succeed and help you along your way. So this is really exciting to me.
We also have
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
one of the. I'm a student leader, and I was chosen for the community marketing team, and Jennifer right here is my mentor. And it's a wonderful experience. You do with other student leaders, and you learn so much, and it's a great program. You get a certificate for completing it. It looks good on your resume too, and you just learn so much. I have my first event tonight where I'm going to go to La Vista High School just from promote our school, our CTE programs, our ESL, and everything tonight. And so I think it's just wonderful trying to help people. I like helping people, so that's why I got into the leadership program.
Thank you. Well, I want to thank Hilda, Melissa, Pedro, Jason, Jorge, and Chris for being such a great panel. Thank you for sharing. I'm always inspired working with young people and people who returned and made such a dedication, and the commitment that you guys have shown, I think is exciting. I was asked to basically sum up So I don't know if you have this still, but if not, I can just talk your way through it. You have this handout, but if you have it out where you easily get to it, you get it out. I'm not sure how I feel about this handout, because it's basically like 5 years of my life on one page. So you can't decide if that's a good thing or it's kind of sad. I don't know. But so if you have a growth mindset, you believe that you can change your intelligence, that you have the ability to make changes. Once you understand neuroplasticity, and that's the ways that your brain changes when you learn new things, and the neurons that fire together, wire together, you know that when you make different choices, your brain changes and you change your intelligence. So you understand why you have a growth mindset. Then you understand that the habits you have, the way you think, metacognition, is something you can change. You can choose to develop persistence. You can choose to develop the habit of thinking flexibly or listening and understanding with empathy. Those are habits that you can make choices. And that's how you put into practice. And we talked about intelligent practice, which is effort plus good strategies plus help from others. Every person up here talked about help from others, and then they learned or were inspired by those people to do different things and achieve these great outcomes. So maybe you could use this sometime where you're in a class or struggling and you think to yourself, what's the ways I can demonstrate effort in this context? What are the good strategies, and who are the people and resources that I can use, whether it's a campus program or a family member or a friend or an instructor, so that I can achieve those things? Because productive struggle is when you put yourself in a learning environment where you have to work hard, you use intelligent practice, and then you achieve success. So productive struggle plus intelligent practice equals success. And if you look at the image, if you don't have it, there's a little picture here of a baby crawling, and then someone walking, and then someone running, and someone skiing and riding a bike. Why is that on there? Because most of us were able to walk in here, right? And when you learn to walk, that's the hardest thing you may ever have to learn. The military spends millions of dollars developing robots. Most of them can't walk. Millions and millions of dollars, they can't make robots walk. It's one of the hardest things we've ever tried to figure out, because it involves all these motor muscles, your brain, sensory perception. It's really, really hard. Many of you probably been around kids, right? And when kids learn to walk, what happens? They fall down. They fall down, and they fall down. Then what do? They get up, and they learn from it, because they don't think it's failure, because it's only failure when you stop. Otherwise, it's feedback, and that's how the human brain learns. You try something, it doesn't work, you take the feedback and try a different way. You modify. Or what Jennifer said in her discussion about grit is practice, refine, reflect, and refine, right? So you try and learn. So little kids, they learn to walk. This is one of the hardest things. Nothing you have to face in learning college will be harder than learning to walk, but you did that, right? You're here, most of us walked into this room, and so this is something I don't think has ever happened. Never been a kid trying to learn to walk, and they fall down. And then they go on without me. I'm just not a walker. That's not what kids say, because they get up and they learn to walk. And you're here and you did that, so you can do whatever you're faced with these challenges, but you just have to have the help, the good strategies, and then the effort. Effort by itself is not enough. You want to have intelligent practice, work smarter, not harder, and that's when you can have grit, right? So I want to thank you guys for being here. It's a great support from the program, so thank you.
Don't take off. There's more to come, more exciting things. I want to keep you here all day. No, not really. We have some evaluations that we would like you to fill out about our alumni panel. Ralphie, you want to come? We also want to thank our great facilitator, teacher, instructor, falling down person. Dr. Powers has been incredible, and it's been a pleasure and a joy to work with you to make this student conference a success. Did you guys have fun today? Yeah. And did you learn a lot? Yeah. And then we want to thank Jennifer Carey, who led us in grit, and I will give her certificate to her personally. She's persevering, getting back to doing what she loves to do, and that's leading our great lab here at NOCE in Anaheim. there's a lot of people to thank, and this would have not come together without the great efforts of the staff here at NOCE, and specifically the Student Success and Equity Advisory Committee that consists of students, faculty, staff, administration. They sponsored this event, and I want to thank them personally. I also want to thank our provost, Valentina, not who only wrote a welcome statement for our conference, but also gave a great welcoming and to start our day to get it going. I want to personally thank the committee. There was a subcommittee, and they are listed in our program. Once I find them. Oh, like to thank Ralphie Fimbress. Where did he go? He snuck out. He snuck out. Ralphie, oh, there he is. Ralphie is Special Project Coordinator for Equity and for a research department. And basically, he's my right-hand person in helping putting this together and did an incredible job of project coordinating and working with the team. I'd like to thank Dr. Catherine Nieswinder. Where is Catherine left? Ah! Catherine was inspirational in putting this together. Darylette Johnson, wave Darylette. Raquel Maria is back there. Linda Langle. Yvette Krebs. Melissa Dela Cruz. Dr. Carlos Diaz. Stacy Webb. And Nancy Flores. I'd like to thank the provost staff team because without their leadership, their empowerment to say, you can do this and this can be a success, we would not be here today. And I'd like to thank everyone that had anything to do with this conference. You guys were really champions today, and I hope you learned a lot. I hope you spread the word to your fellow students. And one of the surprises I gave you this morning is that you have on your flash drive the 2 presentations from this morning. But more exciting news to come is that we have a great videographer who has documented today, and sometime in the spring, and look for it, we will show this day to more people in probably 105, 107, so they get to experience the day that you got to experience in person. So thank you very much, and you have a wonderful day.